Now, we've seen a lot of violence on our borders as well in regards to Islamic-inspired terrorist attacks. And let's just say the sheriff of Florida really doesn't want to deal with this shit anymore.
You know, I think, well, first of all, I will tell you that Florida law enforcement does not stand for any of that crap. If you are going to come after our law enforcement with the intent to hurt or kill law enforcement, expect to be dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go, Florida, the best state. Love Florida.
Expect to be put in the ground because
we will kill you.
Not going to stand
you will
for
die.
It. They shouldn't stand for it. They have every.
We don't need to play this game. Right. If you want to kill us, you will die. This is biblical.
To protect themselves, to get home to their families, and we are going to stand with them.
Good.
When incidents like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That separates
Base.
us from what happens, say, in Seattle or Portland or Minneapolis. They create an environment where people think it's okay to attack law enforcement.
Nope.
It is not okay.
Not okay. You're going to die.
It is absolutely not okay, and we're going to have their backs every day of the week.
Based.
And twice.
That's what I'm talking about.
Go after our law enforcement. Expect to be put in the dirt.
That is what I am talking about. Yes, absolutely. We can't deal with this shit. We don't have to. All right. Now, the American military, meanwhile, is doing side quests. Just thought I'd let you know. Launching military operations against Ecuador narco-terror groups. All right. You think just because we're tied up in a massive war while we're obliterating the greatest terrorist threat the United States has ever seen, you think we also can't deal with cartels? Oh, I think people don't understand exactly how overwhelmingly powerful our military is. Now, our politicians are getting harassed by reporters over this war, and honestly, the politicians, they've been holding their own. Normally, they're kind of retarded, but they've been holding their own because, quite literally, this is the most straightforward, obvious war in the history of our country. All right, these people have been directly trying to kill us, have already killed thousands of us, and are developing weapons to kill us even better. So therefore, we're killing them. It's the most honest, open and shut, basic ass conclusion of all time. And watching reporters try their best to figure out how to deal with this is honestly hilarious.
And we shouldn't take them seriously.
They were attacked
How
by
dumb are you?
They were attacked by
How dumb are you?
US
How dumb are
and
you?
Israel while we were negotiating.
It was while we were negotiating, dog. They violate every negotiation. Like, are you serious? Dude, I'm telling you, feminists for the Ayatollah. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
The US is in a war with Iran.
Because they are building missiles. And
Why are we at war? They're trying to kill us.
kill all of us.
They're trying to kill all of us. It is actually that simple.
Kill all of us? Well, the
Yep.
US intelligence said that there was no threat from Iran.
Liar. The U.S. intelligence said they didn't know when the threat was going to happen, but there was a threat. They directly stated they're building weapons to kill us. Okay, it's inevitable that they would get it eventually. So, we are removing them.
It's not true.
Did Iran wanted to kill us?
Yes! You know, they chant death to America in their parliament every day. They've also killed thousands of Americans.
Have you not followed the news? They put out death to America all the time.
Yeah, so anyway, obviously, this is what these people are doing constantly. It's a little quiet on this post. Senator Rick Scott pummeled a pro-terrorist Code Pink heckler after he did... How dumb are you? How can you be this stupid? That's not true. They don't want to kill us. Yeah, all right, obviously. Now, you might remember Rick Scott. Rick Scott is clearly a senator that is anti-terrorism, which means he's been a target to everyone's favorite leftist, Hasan Piker. What did Hasan Piker have to say about Rick Scott?
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone. No.
That fraud is not coming from individuals, it's coming from providers. They're not tackling providers. They're not actually going after like false billing. They are trying to cut recipients, okay? It is not happening at the point of recipients. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Right.
Okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him the current, what is his current office? What is he?
He's currently a senator, sir. You are currently telling your audience to murder a United States senator, Rick Scott. Now we know why he hates him. It's because he's anti-terrorism. It's actually that simple. I've noticed that every single person that Hasan Piker threatens is someone that actually doesn't like terrorists. I've noticed. It's probably a coincidence. Now, anyway, Qatar launched a war against the IRGC in Iran. Qatari fighter jets are carrying out strikes across Iran. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Qatar is working with the United States and Israel against Iran right now because that's how evil they are. That's how evil Iran is. Even Qatar has joined the fray. Now, Qatar might have joined, but we have to see what all the other nations are up to. China says, we are not providing military support to Iran. We only offer moral backing. These guys literally... Get yourself an ally like China, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself an ally like China. We will not be providing military support. We are only wishing them best of luck. Enjoy Valhalla, fighters. Iran screaming, we need air support. China, you're doing great, guys. You're doing a fantastic job. We do not need to support you. You are doing a great job. Moral support. And everyone's saying that China and the United States are actually going to be butting heads here. Like, every single one of these people that have been saying that this is just some giant war that's going to get us into World War III, every single one of them was proven so unbelievably wrong. It's laughable. All right, well, now we got to see how Russia's doing. I'm sure Russia's backing up their ally Iran. After all, Iran does provide China with oil, but it provides Russia with cheap weaponry like Shahed drones that they've been using against Ukraine. So actually, shutting down Iran literally cripples our two major geopolitical enemies. It cripples Russia because Russia can't get their cheap weaponry anymore, and it cripples China because China can't get their oil. But no, Donald Trump is doing something stupid. He probably didn't think about this at all, says your average leftist. So anyway, this is incredible stuff. Let's see what Putin had to say. Breaking: Putin tells Iran to stop hitting Arab oil infrastructure. Dude, I am telling you, if with allies like Russia and China, who needs enemies, bro? It's like... Iran, listen, we're not coming to help you, but don't you dare bomb your enemies in a way that it can harm us. This is the most diabolical thing I've ever seen in my life. All right, so anyway, so Iran's allies kind of left them out to dry because no one likes them, obviously. But let's see what a former Iran supporter, Zoran Mamdani, has to say. He is the mayor of New York City. He recently released a whole thing condemning Trump on an illegal war. And unfortunately, everyone is saying that, no, actually, Trump is getting destroyed in the polls, even though the polls are actually up on Trump right now. But no, he's getting destroyed. Well, actually, it's the other way around.
I've said before that the Iranian government had...
Bro?
I've said before that the Iranian government has engaged in systematic repression of its own people.
He has to condemn his boys.
Killing thousands of Iranians who were seeking to express the most basic forms of dissent earlier.
Oh, he got pushback. He got pushback from the New Yorker actual Iranians that have been running away from this regime. Oh, man. In his city of immigrants, he brings in all these immigrants, and a lot of these immigrants are actually people that are fleeing Iran because of oppression. So this dude thought, hey, I'll just buddy up with my Islamic terrorists in Iran and condemn Trump and stuff, and then he got absolutely eviscerated by the immigrants that he is fighting for. And now he has to drop these whole apologies. Obviously, Iran is so bad and they're murdering. Yeah, bend that knee, bitch. That's right, dude. Bend that freaking knee. Oh, you have no idea how much it pains Zoran to do this. His own people will turn on him now and he knows it. And he was crying about it 3 days ago. Today's military strikes on Iran carried out by the United States and Israel are a catastrophic escalation, illegal war of aggression. And look at you now, absolutely sniveling on your knees. Dude, absolute cinema. It doesn't get any better than this. Now, let's see what our allies, quote-unquote allies, are up to. All right, so, France says it will work with China on de-escalating Iran war. France, our noble allies of Europe, all right, completely cucked by this communist bullshit. All right, it's pretty good stuff. All right, let's see what our other allies are up to. Following the banning of Israeli companies at the last military expo in France, we welcome everyone to view our product demonstration in Tehran. Oh my fucking god, that's diabolical. Holy shit, that's crazy. Yeah, because France banned Israel because of Israel's war with Gaza. So now it's like, hey, we don't need to show you our weapons in France. We can just show you in Tehran. That's diabolical. All right, let's see what Canada's up to. More Euro cuck nations. All right, so originally, Carney said that what America was doing was a good thing. Because, yeah, it's a brutal dictatorship in Iran that's sending people to kill us everywhere. All right? But now he completely changed his tune all of a sudden.
We do, however, take this position with regret because the current conflict is another example of the failure of the international order.
No international order. We are the international order, bitch. Get on your knees, bro. What is this? What is this? Oh no, he's killing a terrorist, but he's doing it in a way that we don't like.
Despite decades of UN Security Council resolutions, the tireless work of the International Atomic Energy
no one cares.
Agency,
none of them did anything.
Succession of sanctions and diplomatic frameworks,
Oh, we need diplomacy with a radical terrorist organization that lies every time they make a diplomatic agreement and are building nuclear weapons in order to destroy us. We need to kiss the ring. That's right. We should just shake their hand and expect nothing bad to happen.
Iran's nuclear
Dude, what happened to these people? Why are they all so weak?
threat remains. And now, the United States and Israel have acted without engaging the United Nations or consulting allies, including Canada.
Oh my God! America didn't ask Canada's permission if we could get rid of a terrorist that's directly threatening us? Wow! You know, I was all for this war a second ago, you know, taking out terrorists that are massacring tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands in the region, thousands of our own people, directly threatening us, attempt to assassinate our president, building weapons that they're saying they're going to use to nuke our homeland. And, you know, I didn't even consider this, but now that I'm realizing that we didn't consult with Canada before destroying an existential threat to our nation, you know, now everything's changed.
So where to from here? With a rapidly spreading conflict and growing threats to civilian life. Canada reaffirms that
There were threats to civilian life from the Iranian regime. Right? If it's civilian life that you're claiming to care about, then you should be licking Trump's orange balls, because the Iranian regime just massacred between 35 and 100,000 of their own civilians in the streets. You had nothing to say about that. No strongly worded letter from Canada telling them to stop it.
that international law binds all belligerents.
Wah, wah, international law, wah, wah. Bro, wake up. International law is fake and gay. It doesn't exist. All right? We are international law because we have the military. What are you going to do? You're going to arrest me? You're going to call the international law police? Wee woo, wee woo. America, we are Canada. We have snowballs and two guys named Pierre on horseback, and we are demanding you put down your nuclear weapons and B-2 bombers immediately. Like, dog, international law doesn't exist.
We condemn the strikes carried out by Iran on civilians and civilian infrastructure across...
Right, they're condemning Iran, they're condemning the United States, and who needs these guys? These are our allies?
...the Middle East.
Oh no, but Trump is putting tariffs, he's gonna alienate our allies. Are you kidding me? These guys? These pathetic, cocksucking, gay communists? Are you serious?
And we implore all parties, including the United States and Israel, to respect the rules of international engagement. Canada calls for a rapid de-escalation of hostilities
Yeah, what is
and
this?
is prepared to assist in...
We know that you mostly finished the job, but we don't want you to actually finish the job. Leave the terrorist pedophile regime alone. Let them massacre their own people in peace, okay? Let them do that. But let's not violate international law or anything.
achieving this goal. Resolution of this crisis will require commitment to a broader political solution.
What does that even mean? Let's make a deal with goat-fucking, apocalyptic, suicidal terrorists.
And diplomatic engagement is essential to avoid a wider and deeper
We
conflict.
tried diplomatic engagement. It doesn't work. We destroyed their nuclear sites 6 months ago. The first thing they did was start trying to rebuild not only nuclear sites, but ballistic missiles to stop anyone from stopping their nuclear sites. All right, we don't need to deal with this shit. This is
Innocent
insane.
civilians must be protected,
Yeah, well, you didn't say that when Iran was massacring their own civilians.
and all parties must commit to finding enduring agreements
Oh, get
to
out
end
of
both
here.
nuclear...
We must commit, or else what? Or else Canada's gonna get mad? Are we serious? Dog, we could take Canada in 2 hours. You see what we're doing to Iran? And those guys have a military. Okay? Bro, those guys have a military, dog. What are we... Are you serious? Like, you know that his Chinese overlords told him he had to say this. For those of you not following Canadian politics, this Carney guy, the current Prime Minister of Canada, he's basically in the pocket of China. So no one's surprised. Now, the breaking, interesting news is Canada is actually under U.S. surveillance because they're harboring 700 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members, which are the Iranian terrorist regime, are currently in Canada as we speak, because duh. Now, and another reason why this has to be talked about is because this literally just happened this morning. 2 North York synagogues, all right? This is in Toronto, Canada. North York synagogues struck by gunfire, overnight shootings, police investigating. But I thought guns were banned in Canada. How are there shootings? Well, anyway, it's unbelievable that this is happening all over the place. All right, we got to talk about Spain, because these guys have been honestly retarded as balls. Aside from refusing to actually fund NATO and stuff like that, now they're coming out in direct support of Islamic terrorism. No one's surprised. They're communists.
Nos estamos precipitando de manera muy peligrosa hacia un mundo cada vez
It's
más
unstable.
inestable, más inseguro,
It's an
más
unstable
belicoso,
world.
y por tanto más injusto
Actually, it's a lot more stable
para
under Trump.
el común de los mortales.
Ordinary
Ayer
people.
yo creo que esos
They were
temores
confirmed,
se
the fears.
constataron
Oh,
nuevamente,
no.
por desgracia. Dos países atacaron a Irán unilateralmente.
Unilaterally
Estados Unidos e
attacked
Israel,
Iran. You know Iran has been massacring people by the tens of thousands.
contra un régimen odioso, como está el conjunto de la sociedad
We
española.
are
como es el
against
régimen
the
iraní,
Iranian regime.
y estar a la vez en contra de
But
una
we are
intervención
against
militar
toppling the
injustificada,
Iranian regime.
peligrosa y fuera de la legalidad
people are such
internacional.
International! But what about law? International! International law needs to stop. Please, please, please stop killing terrorists that are massacring tens of thousands of people, please. We care so much about civilian life. I'm a communist, by the way.
Que se debe estar contra una guerra iniciada sin autorización del Congreso de Estados Unidos,
Well, the
del
United States
Consejo de
Congress
Seguridad
needs
de
to be
Naciones
involved,
Unidas,
right? Just like they'd been for Obama every time he did one of his 26,000 illegal drone strikes.
que siempre hay espacio para una
A
solución
negotiated solution.
negociada.
Let's just negotiate with the terrorist regime that's massacring people by the tens of thousands for the last 47 years, planning to build a nuclear weapon to destroy us. Yes. As reported by Qatar News Al Jazeera. Dude, honestly, incredible stuff that we need to deal with this. So that's Spain Prime Minister condemning our war. What a coincidence. Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain, just had a friendly meeting with the Iranian president. Wow. Wow. Duma expressed the value of Iran as a regional actor capable of influencing open conflicts. I also asked him to do the utmost to save the JCPOA, which is the Obama deal. Are you serious? This guy, really? This guy, Sanchez, this is the guy condemning us? Dude out here shaking hands with the Iranian regime, viewing the value of the Iranian terrorist regime? Are you serious? Dude, this Islamic Communist Alliance is honestly horrifying. It's actually horrifying. It's because they both hate Western civilization so much, they're willing to ally with people that have absolute opposite worldviews, and they don't care. It's unreal. Even Elon Musk called Sanchez a traitor to the people of Spain because he's trying to legalize 500,000 illegal aliens, just legalize them and give them voting power to win elections. That's literally, and I think he's a traitor. I think he's literally a traitor. This dude is straight up bringing in people illegally into the country and then just legalizing them so that they could vote for him, which is traitorous. It's honestly, it's the global left agenda everywhere. All right, now we got to understand what we're dealing with in regards to the United Kingdom as well before I show you Trump's response to all this. China offers lease deal with Mauritius on the Chagos Islands. All right, so it seems like they are selling the Chagos Archipelago, an island which is used very, very much for our military. It's like he's selling them to allies of China. And if it's money that's so important to England, we offered to buy it, actually.
So I'm asking you, Prime Minister Starmer, I shouldn't have said what I said. Your testicles aren't on back order from Amazon. I take it back.
I love this guy.
Please do the right thing here. If you're determined to give away these islands to Mauritius, which never owned them, which inevitably is going to help China, if you're determined to divest the people of the United Kingdom of these islands, please sell them to the United States.
But nope, because he needs to sell them to China.
I will sponsor the legislation happily, enthusiastically, to appropriate the money to do it. And then the United Kingdom can be out of the picture, and the United States can continue to control one of the mightiest and most important military bases in all of human history.
Nope, but he has to sell it to China. That's our allies, by the way. Our allies. All right? Now, allies like Keir Starmer, who has been issuing warnings to child rape gangs before arresting them, giving them warning letters, tell them, hey, we're coming to arrest you for rape. All right? He's been issuing warnings to these guys. So, the breaking news, the UK blocks the United States from using British bases for strikes on Iran. Now, this was a couple days ago. This was before the war actually started. Our ally blocking us from using bases for our military involvement. All right? And then he made a whole update to the situation after he got absolutely chewed out and destroyed, and because Iran also struck the United Kingdom. You have to understand, Iran struck the UK embassies and militaries in the region, okay? Directly struck. And he decided instead of actually doing anything, he was going to cry about it.
Yesterday, I spoke to you about the situation in the Gulf and explained that the United Kingdom was not involved in the strikes on Iran.
We were not involved. Please leave us alone. Well, anyway, they didn't leave them alone because they're terrorists and they bombed them anyway. So what is his epic response? His epic response is saying, you know what, maybe defensively we could let the United States use our military bases. And Donald Trump says Keir Starmer took far too long to give the U.S. access to British bases. That's probably never happened between our countries before. We were very disappointed in Keir. Honestly, that is the understatement of the century. These people stabbed us in the back and left us out to dry. All right. Now, I feel like this is super important to mention. Remember when they called Trump crazy for wanting Greenland? Right? Everyone was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand. Why does Trump want Greenland? It's owned by Denmark. It's owned by the European, the Eurocucks. Every time we actually need to use Greenland as a military base, the Eurocucks would let us. Why should Trump own Greenland? And then the UK and Spain refused America to use their military bases. That is what we're talking about. We are witnessing the tide turn in real time.